Welcome to the Books on Air podcast. I'm Suzanne Harris, and my listeners get the story behind every book. Joining me today is Salty Yeom. Salty is here to talk about his book, God's Plan, Alpha and Omega of COVID-19. Welcome, Salty.
Hi. Thank you for inviting me.
It's my pleasure. This is a very personal book for you. It tells your story. So let's go back to 2019. How did COVID in 2019 affect you directly?
13 years ago, in 2008, I read the Bible for the first time. Because of poverty, I was running only for social success, but God called me. So I believed in God honestly at that time, with the belief that God would solve my life. However, since the fall of 2014, I left God again, and I worked only to make money, to earn money. I kept away from God and concentrate on my work. And at the time, in 2019, COVID-19 broke out. Due to COVID-19, everything I was doing has stopped. My work stopped. I can't do anything more.
That was horrible for you. How did this affect your relationship with God?
Okay, I didn't have time to communicate with God because I was working hard at my job. At one time in the past, I was jealous in believing in God and in Jesus Christ. However, until the outbreak of COVID-19, I had hardly communicated with God. But when COVID-19 broke out and all my work was stopped, I had to kneel down to the God. I speak to God. I pray to God. I have no choice but to communicate with God because I'm on the brink. I was nearly dying due to COVID-19. Many problems has broke. This is my answer about question.
Why did you choose to write your book now?
It's not my plan, but God's plan. That is, God made me to write this book. Everything I was doing before had stopped, so I had no choice but to the new job God had given me. I prayed to God to live me. I asked God to tell me what to do. I asked God to tell me your plan for me, if it existed. I have no choice. I had no choice but to do God's plan.
How did you receive the message from God? What were you doing? How did the message appear?
when my work stopped due to COVID-19, I prayed to God day after day. My prayer had continued for 40 days. 40 days after my prayer starting, I prayed day after day. I received a message from God at that time. 40 days after my prayer starting, I received a message from God. At that time, accidentally, I had tried to save wounded cat on the street. At that time, God sent me the message. The message is, make the book, write the book about COVID-19 and God's plan.
Your book is in scroll images. Where did this idea come from?
Yes. The scroll images show that my book was written with God's thoughts, not mine. I wanted to give it a different feel from the usual book. Different feel from the usual book. It's like a copy of the Bible found in Dead Sea. It's like a copy of the Bible found in the Dead Sea. To be honest, I'm South Korean. I cannot speak English well, and I didn't even read the Bible much. But in a moment of Christ, I sought God above all else, because He believed that I believe only God could solve this problem. I wanted to emphasize as much as possible that my book is the Word of God. So I use the format of my book. In my book, I use scroll images. This is my answer.
Like the Dead Sea Scrolls?
Scroll images, holy images. I think scroll images is holy images. Scroll images represents God's thought, God's plan, not mine. This is my answer.
Good. What do the diagrams in the book mean?
Diagram is like a pyramidal or a triangle. Triangle or pyramidal image is sign of Big Bang of sin, spread of sin. Pyramidal image or a triangle image is from one point to wide range, wide bottom. That means from first sin, that sin spread. The diagram means the spread of the sin. The diagram is the representative of Big Bang of a sin.
Salty, can you summarize the main ideas of the book for our listeners?
Yes. This answer may be a bit longer
That's
than
okay.
the others. Cut in the middle of if you like. Cut in the middle of if you like. Let's start. My answer, COVID-19 is God's plan. The beginning and the end of the COVID-19 is God's plan. The beginning and the end of COVID-19 is human sin. That was just a human sin. COVID-19 is God's judgment about human sin because of human sin. Its origin is original sin. In other words, when the original sin occurred 6,000 years ago, the COVID-19 was planned as God's final judgment. This is amazing fact, and only God can do it. Mankind cannot do it. This is my most important point in my book. This is most important point in my book. Human sin is from original sins. Original sin was by first Adam and Eve 6,000 years ago. Because of original sin, all mankind was under sin until the second Adam, Jesus Christ, came. This mentioned in Bible, Romans chapter 5. Second Adam, Jesus Christ, went on the cross according to the God's plan to solve the sins of mankind spread through the first Adam. However, the second Adam, Jesus Christ, prophesied that he would come again. Why does he have to come back? There are several reasons. One of the biggest reasons is to completely solve the problem of human sin. Jesus Christ went to the cross for the sins of mankind. But what about mankind now? Mankind is free of sin? No. If the second Adam, Jesus Christ, must come to completely solve the problem of human sin, COVID-19 is a strong sign that Jesus Christ will come again. Repeat again. Second Adam, Jesus Christ, must come to completely solve the problem of human sin. So, COVID-19 is a strong sign that Jesus Christ will come again. The above can be briefly summarized as follows. First, COVID-19 is God's plan. The Alpha and Omega of COVID-19 is God. The beginning and the end of COVID-19 is Jesus Christ. COVID-19 is epidemic which is mentioned in the Bible. For example, Matthew chapter 24, Jeremiah, Ezekiel, and so on. COVID-19 will last 3.5 years. That is, will last until June 4th, 2023 is God's plan. Second, man-made vaccines cannot defeat COVID-19. July 4, 2021, Joe Biden the President of USA declared the independence from the COVID-19. But is USA independent from COVID-19 as of 2021? 2nd November. Is USA independent from COVID-19? Is the world independent from COVID-19? Why cannot independent from COVID-19? Because COVID-19 is not man's plan, but God's plan. Third, the point of this book, only the return of Jesus Christ can completely end COVID-19. Human efforts alone cannot end COVID-19. The reason is that COVID-19 is God's judgment on human sin. Do you believe man-made vaccine solved the human sin? That answer is no.
Excellent. Let me tell our listeners where they can find your book. You can go to Amazon.com and put in the title of Salty's book. Let me give you the title. It is God's, G-O-D, apostrophe S, plan, dash, alpha and omega of COVID-19. Salty's name is spelled Saltyyeom. Now, if you put that title in with Salty's name and you click on it, the book comes right up. You see the representation of the cover. You can click on the Look Inside feature, and there will be a preview, an excerpt of the book. Salty, I have one final question. When the readers finish your book, what is the main message you want them to take away?
Yes. Important message has mentioned the previous question and answers. Repeat again. COVID-19 is God's plan. The alpha and omega of COVID-19 is God. The beginning and the end of COVID-19 is Jesus Christ. So, man-made vaccines cannot defeat COVID-19 completely. In fact, nobody who is famous for medical knowledge could not predict COVID-19's peaks or pinnacle. That is Delta variant. The USA president declared independence from COVID-19 on July 4, 2021, but after that most powerful mutation of COVID-19 struck the USA and the world. This content was mentioned in previous question and answers.
Salty.
My book. Okay.
Go ahead.
Okay, my book is not from my thought, but from God's thought, God's plan. That is main message the readers to take away from my book.
Salty, thank you so much for being our guest today and bringing us this intriguing personal story about God's plan, Alpha and Omega of COVID-19. Remember, you can find this on Amazon.com, and the author's name, once more, is Salty, S-A-L-T-Y, Yeom, Y-E-O-M. Salty, thank you so much for being our guest today.
It's my pleasure. Thank you very, very much for giving me important opportunity for me. Thank you very much.
My pleasure. You've been listening to the Books on Air podcast, brought to you on webtalkradio.net. You can also hear this podcast on Spotify, iHeartRadio, Apple Podcasts, and Stitcher. I'm Suzanne Harris, and I hope you'll join us for the next Books on Air podcast, because remember, you never know who we're going to talk to, and you never know what we're going to talk about. Thank you so much for listening.